My name's Tom. I've just installed some cabinets in my basement, and now it's time to put some knobs on. But to do that, I've got to get my knobs, and I have to go ahead and measure out exactly where they go. I want them all to be in alignment, so to do that I want to be dead in the center of my drawers and my doors so that it's pleasing to the eye. If knobs are out of alignment on a line of cabinets, your eye will quickly pick it up, and it'll look like an amateur job. So the first thing we have to do is measure. Okay, so now I'm ready to go ahead and measure for where I'm going to put my knobs. First thing I'm going to do is measure horizontally and try to find the center of the drawer. So I'm going to pull the drawer out, and instead of measuring like this, so I can drop my tape measure, I'm going to measure across the top. And I can kind of rest my tape measure up there, and it's a little bit easier for me to work with. So I have exactly 35.5 inches. So 35.5 divided by 2 is 17.75. So I find that mark and I put a tiny little mark on the top of the cabinet, just enough to see. And I'm using a pencil because I don't want this mark to stay there. I will eventually erase this, so I want to be careful. Alright, now let's go ahead and figure out the vertical center. Okay, now that I've found the horizontal, I'm going to find the vertical center. So what I do is I line my tape measure up with my horizontal center, and I kind of lock it in place, and I kind of hang it off the side. And I have, it looks like exactly 6 inches. So I'll go ahead and I put a little mark on the 6-inch mark. Now I'm in line with my horizontal as well as my vertical with the tape measure. So now I have what should be the center of the drawer. If you want to go ahead and double check this, and I do suggest you do that, take your tape measure, walk away for a moment, come back, and then remeasure this way, and you should be pretty much in the center. You can even go ahead and stand in the back of the room and look at it and make sure that it is in the center. Another way of telling if you have a cabinet system like this, when you close it up, that dot should be pretty much in the middle of the 2 doors below it. All these little tricks will help you make sure that you're as close to the center as possible with your drawer, with your drawer knob. Again, don't drill a hole until you're absolutely certain that you're in the right spot. Now that I've found the center of my drawer, it's almost time to drill a hole, but I have to know how big the hole needs to be. So what I have here is my drawer pull. I pulled it out of the package, and I also have the screw that's going to go behind it. But the trick is this: I don't know how big this screw is. There's a couple ways I can figure out exactly what size hole I need right there. If my hole's too big, then my knob will kind of move around. If it's too small, obviously won't fit. So I take a screw, and what I can do, a couple tricks here. I can take a drill bit, and I can kind of hold the drill bit behind it and kind of look at it. And if I can see the edges of the drill bit behind the threads of the screw, then I know it's probably the right size. Another method that I can use is I can use one of these little drill gauges in there. You can pick them up at a hardware store probably for $1 or $2. And what they are is a bunch of little holes, and you just kind of check and see how big of a drill bit or a screw you need to fit that. So I'll take my screw and I'll go in that one. Nope, that one's too big. But right there, 11/64, up, 5/32. That fits pretty well, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to use a drill bit that's 5/32 for my hole. Okay, so now I'm ready to drill my hole. So I pull my drawer out a little bit, I get my drill, and line it up just right in the center, and make sure again, and here goes. So the center as possible. There we go. One hole, ready for a drawer knob. Okay, now that I have my hole in my drawer that is vertically and horizontally centered, I can finally take my screw, take the drawer pull, and kind of reach around behind and push it in. I have to wiggle a little bit. There we go. It just popped out. I take my drawer pull and I kind of twist it onto that. I'm holding it with my finger right now, but you might want to use a screwdriver as well. And I kind of turn it, and there we go. It's going to keep twisting. It's not going to turn tight. So let me find my screwdriver. Using a little screwdriver, on the nail head, and I tighten it up there. Alright, now my drawer pull is now ready to go, and now my drawer is much easier to open. A couple things that couldn't go wrong. The screws they provide with a lot of drawer pulls are often small, like too short for some of the thicker drawers. You can take the screw to the hardware store and get a longer one. You don't want to go too long, obviously, because otherwise it's going to kind of wiggle around. But go ahead and go for the next size up. That'll usually do it. They're not real expensive. The other thing is that sometimes if you use exactly the same size drill bit as a screw, you'll have a hard time getting it in. You can go ahead and go one size up on the drill bit if you really want to. But generally, if you just kind of screw it back and forth a couple times, it will work pretty well. And this isn't quite tight yet. Let me tighten it up. There we go. Ready to go. And now I have a drawer pull.